All right, y'all. We are live on this beautiful Monday afternoon. God bless everybody. In the name of Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah, I do pray everybody is super blessed. Guys, make sure to smash up the likes. Make sure to smash up the likes because, as usual, if we can get 1,000 likes in the first half hour, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. So what you guys need to do is you need to head on over to Twitter and go ahead and retweet this stream, baby. Because we are chilling. We are chilling. Head on over to Twitter, retweet the stream, see if we can get 1,000 people in here to do a juicy giveaway. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Got to give a major shout out to Michael Saylor in the house, Crypto Crawler. Shout out to Robert the Herald. He says, buy the dip. Major shout out to Crypto Coons, holding it down as a moderator. God bless you, my bro. Shout out to Baka 0007 from Brazil. Shout out to Getchy M9Q. Hey, smash the likes, baby. Shout out to Prime Vids. He says, yo, JC. What is going on, my man? What is going on? Man, we have a lot to talk about today. I ain't gonna lie. We have a lot to talk about today. Shout out to Daniel. He says, hi, Jay. Shout out to Crypto Pump It. What is going on, bro? Shout out to Monica, who says that wig. This ain't no wig, Monica. This is my new do. My new cut. All right? So relax with that whole wig stuff. Give me an 80K BTC. Shout out to Kristen Dadge Jink 9814. And Cryptlurts, who says hi. Shout out to Yes Wanth from India. Shout out to everyone from India. Shout out to everyone from America. Shout out to everyone from the Philippines. Shout out to everybody everywhere. God bless you guys. All right, man. We got to talk about this Bitcoin price action because right now, as you can see, we are in a long trade, baby. All right. Long right from the dang bottom. Setup given, by the way, in the Casper Crew VIP Discord last night when I told the community that indeed I was going long from the naked daily point of control. Let's go ahead and bring it up nice and large and in charge. Told the community going long from that naked daily point of control. Reason being, guys, we came down to the exact level that I was looking for and waiting for and planning for. All right, people are always like, Jay, how do you catch these wicks? We were planning for this exact level since Wednesday, man. All right, since Wednesday. So as we're getting the big dump, I'm watching and waiting, took the trade and told everyone as well in the Casper Crew that I was taking the trade. All right. That is what I call a successful entry. All right, now obviously because such a good entry, was able to get in with a really good risk to reward, man. Was able to go in with a pretty big position, so I've already locked in some decent profit on it. But we have some serious things forming on the chart right now for the Bitcoin price. Okay, we have, in my opinion, this rejection from the key level does not look the best. It really does not look the best. All right. By the way, guys, make sure to share this stream on Twitter. All right, head over to Twitter, give it a retweet, man. Give it a retweet. Give it a retweet, give it a comment, give it a like. Let's get people in here. Let's make it a party so we can do our $1,000 giveaway today, baby. All right. Shout out to J-Boy Bullish, by the way, in the chat. J-Boy Bullish, man. God bless you, bro. It's really cool to see you in here, man. J-Boy Bullish and OG in the Casper Crew. All right. Yeah, we need to talk about this, man, because as you can see, we are, yes, we're getting a little bit of a bounce, okay? Yes, we're getting a little bit of bounce from the naked daily point of control, but look at this red line on my chart here, guys, at 94.5. We have really gotten a big move below this. This is a big support resistance flip. In addition, if we take a look at this, you can see basically a fake out of the range high. And honestly, when we take a look at the daily market cipher B, we can see that we've got some serious issues. All right, we have some serious issues. We're going to be talking about the serious issues that we got, baby. Shout out also to good old KCEX, guys. Lowest deal on fees. Currently trading on KCEX. Currently trading on Antarctic Exchange. Antarctic Exchange. Very low fees. If you click the link, Antarctic will give you literally the lowest fees that they offer. It's a decentralized exchange. All right, currently chilling in a short here on Antarctic, but I'm not logged in. All right. Major shout out to everybody in here. God bless you all. God bless you all. It's a beautiful day to be trading Bitcoin. It's a beautiful day. I am so thankful to the Lord, full of gratitude and thankfulness to God, to Jesus for everything that He's blessed me with. I'm just in awe of His goodness, His mercy, His grace, His love. Every good thing in my life is because of God's goodness. And everything else just is what it is, guys. Everything else just is what it is. You can see this very peculiar position we are in right here with Bitcoin, having gotten a bit of a rejection from this key POC. And to be honest with you guys, unless we can reclaim quickly, it seems to me that our next target is going to be around the $88,000 value area low. Okay? Shout out to Shogun Crypto. Shout out to Scene Crack. He says, bro, pick 4 random people for a giveaway and distribute 250 to each. We could do that. We could do that. We could do that. Major shout out to Keys Trades. What's up? Shout out to Splash Fire Films in the house. And shout out to V Monitor. God bless you. Shout out to Joe Mauma. Joe Mauma. What is going on, Joe Mauma? Says amen. Amen. Smash up the likes, y'all. Okay, so first of all, let's paint a little bit of a picture here for the Bitcoin price action, discuss exactly what has happened yesterday. Remember, let's build a little bit of a context. We go to the 2-month time frame, and we have confirmed the big, the scary, bearish divergence. Why is it big? Why is it scary? Well, it's because, historically speaking, guys, when the price makes a higher high, and the momentum waves makes a lower high on the 2-month market cipher B, this is known as the dreaded, scary, upside down, Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man-boo pattern. Where as the price is getting higher, Sam Bankman-Fried, the villain of the last bear market, his man-boos, and we don't know why, but they are getting lower over time. There are many speculations about this. In fact, most scientists agree and experts agree that it's because when you live in the Bahamas, stealing money from people to do meth with your friends, because you're always tweaking out, he was consistently doing left side only decline dumbbell chest presses, which caused a lot of hypertrophy on the lower left chest, and the right side was all cracked out and skinny. All right, this is really what led to the collapse of FTX and in turn the collapse of the Bitcoin price. Now we have this confirmed once again on the 2-month time frame. Now again, we go back in time. Every single time, this means sideways and down for the next few months. But as we are watching the chart and this story unfold, we notice something else. Even in the midst of the upside down Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man-boo pattern on the 2-month time frame, which we in fact also had over here, we are starting to print and have confirmed a big beer belly bottom on the weekly market cipher B. A big beer belly bottom on market cipher B. The opposite of meth is beer, okay? Now, you can see this big beer belly right here. This is a big bottom, all right? This is a big beer belly bottom, and we got it right here on market cipher B. Look at that big beer belly. It's full of just visceral fat all around the liver and all the organs. Now, there needs to be a correction. When you get to this point in your life and you look at yourself in the mirror, you say, you know what? I need to make a correction here. All right? I cannot continue down this path. And likewise, the Bitcoin price. When you print this big beer belly bottom, Bitcoin looks in the mirror and says, what have I let happen to myself? Here I am, a 35-year-old man driving a minivan around, working a job that I hate, a boss that I hate, and I look down and I can't even see my Fibonacci extension because the big old beer belly is in the way. It leads to a correction. And you can see, even from printing this green dot, we have had a little bit of a correction from the downside, about 20%. Now here's the thing. This 20% correction, in my opinion, could actually turn into something more. Notice the first beer belly green dot of the last bear market gave us about a 47% pump. Very interesting. All right, we get these big beer belly dots on market cipher B. They give us something, bear or bull market. All right, bear or bull market. Even in the heat of this bear market here, you get the big beer belly. And we are pumping up. Let's see. 50% in the middle of a bear market. Another 50% in the middle of a bear market. All right. So in my opinion, there is room still for upside here. So the 2-month is bearish. All right. The weekly seems like we could see more upside while yet still continuing in a downtrend. Like, let's be clear. I do believe we're heading into a time of sideways and down. But the weekly's telling me the sideways can continue before some down. Now, here's where things get hairy and scary. On the daily time frame, as we have come up to the local range high, right here, as we have come up to the short setup given in advance in the Casper Crew VIP Discord on January 5th, from the level of 96,283 up to around 98K for the invalidation, we are seeing the momentum waves getting lower as the price is getting higher. All right, we're building the context here. If we don't understand these higher time frame things, we are not going to understand the lower time frame. This is giving us the dreaded, scary, upside down, uneven butt cheek pattern. All right, the dreaded and scary upside down, uneven butt cheek pattern. On the left, you have a very big butt cheek. Oh, mamma mia, it's so big. A nice big Italian butter cheek with the pizza pie and the mozzarella cheese. You sprinkle it on top of the butter cheek. You know what I mean? Mamma mia. Oh my goodness. Oh no, the Italian mustache to come out now. The right side, you have a skinny little butter cheek. Oh, why you no eat nothing? Why you no eat nothing? Ha ha, yo, you're vegetarian. Ha 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 ha. Why you no eat nothing? This called the bearish divergence. Okay? A little bit of a bearish divergence. You say, Jason, no, come on, you're being a racist against Italiana. Come on, I'm a baby boomer. Baby boomers, we don't, we all a little bit racist like this. We don't care. It's just normal for us to the baby boomers. Besides, I'm a little bit Italian myself. So I'm completely justified in saying all of these things. And then that's called a bearish divergence. Now, notice this, okay? Notice this. Not only did we close the weekly candle below the range high, but we also closed the weekly candle below this very important point of control, the highest volume node that we traded since April 2025. November 2024. And so, to me, guys, this opens up the door for more downside on Bitcoin. Now, all that being said, I want to bring to your attention the money flow on Market Cipher B. It is curving from the purple into the blue, which does give us a silver lining and a ray of hope here. The reason is because if we do come back down to value area low of this range, remember, the range we're dealing with is this, the low at $80,000 and the high at $97,000. If we come back down to the bottom of the range, guess what? What would Market Cipher B look like? See, we have to extrapolate. It's all about extrapolation, right? When we're looking for setups, we're extrapolating into the future. What is Market Cipher B going to look like? All right, we're asking ourselves, like, look, if we come up here and we see Market Cipher B looking like this, that's the signal. All right, so think with me now. Let's put on our thinking caps together. All right, how's the mic, by the way? Check 1, check 2, check. Sounds good. If we come down here, notice what would be happening on Market Cipher B. We would be seeing the momentum waves getting higher as the price is getting lower to key support, taking out lots of stop losses, by the way, a nice good old liquidity hunt, giving us the regular uneven butt cheek pattern. All right, the two ladies at the gym, you know, it's chest day. You're going in for a nice chest pump, baby. You know, you walk into the gym, you look over, who do you see? The two ladies that are there every time you go to the gym. Lady on the left, the squat deadlift chick, all right? She's always there, high protein, high carb, high calorie. She knows she's not going to get fat from eating the right kinds of foods and lifting weights. But then on the right, you've got the cardio bunny chick, all right? Scared of food. Scared of food, scared of fat, always on that treadmill. Can you imagine? I could never imagine always being on a treadmill. I could never imagine always being on a treadmill. I can't believe some people go on a treadmill every day. What losers. Those two chicks at the gym indicate KCEX is going to be a good chest day. And that's also known as a bullish divergence, which could give us a big old pump to the upside. And honestly, here's the thing. Given the context of the weekly time frame, which still has more upside, if this happens, guys, this could be what has happened right now could be a bull trap. We flip it into a bear trap, and we flip into another bull trap, just to continue sideways and down for the next few months until we finally bottom out in those higher time frames, and we can really pump and see Bitcoin, in my opinion, over $200,000. All right, this is what I'm looking at. I look at it right now as we are here. All right, we are here. We are right around here, baby. Right, we had a range. We took the high. We're making a higher low. We've got the weekly green dot of print in. Right, that's what I'm looking. Right, so even if we come down here, you know, we still come up here and then kaboom. We trade in this little thing here for a while and then kaboom. That's what I'm looking for. All right, I'm just gonna be real. I'm gonna give it to you straight. You know I never give it gay. Hey, Jay, Mr. J, he gives it to you straight. You know he never gives it gay. All right, which reminds me, guys. That reminds me. Go over to Twitter. All right, repost the stream. Let's see if we can't get 1,000 people in the house, baby. We've got 12 retweets. Let's see if we can't get 100 retweets, 1,000 retweets. 1,000 retweets, I'm gonna give away 4K. 1,000 retweets, man, I'll give away 4,000 cents. 4K cents, baby. No, but in all seriousness, if we actually get 1,000 retweets, I'll do something crazy. I'll do something crazy. Man, us YouTubers, we do crazy things for likes and views. You know, it's addicting. It's addicting. Likes and views. I even got myself this dang bullish syringe of likes and views. You know, just jab it into the dang deltoid. It feels good. You know, when's YouTube algorithm gonna give me that next fix, baby? The YouTube algos. You know what I'm saying? You know what your boy Jay Casper's saying over here? Oh man. Sometimes I go to sleep at night thinking of ways to get more Bitcoin before anyone else figures it out. Michael Saylor in 2019. Wow. Wow. In my garage, I get on the treadmill in between sets doing supplemental exercises for heavy lifts. That's what's up, you know? Shout out to everyone retweeting the stream, by the way. Now, let's go down to the 1 hour time frame, okay? Let's go down to the 1 hour here. I just want to point out another very interesting fact, which is this. We pull all the volume. We have broken below local value area high, which means probabilistically speaking, all right? Probability speaking, it means we're going to be coming down to our major zone support right around here. All right, in addition to this, we pull our fib from the low that we made back here to the high, and you can see, goodness gracious, golly Joe Bob, it's literally also right at the Fibonacci golden pocket. So again, this zone is the zone which I think could really give us our next big move. All right, you know what I'm saying? How much money do I make from YouTube? I made $600 this month on YouTube. I made $600 on YouTube. That's how much. That's how much. Let's see what's going on here. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Do we have audio? Yo, yo, yo. Yeah, we got some audio, baby. Nobody ever went broke taking profits. That's a cool thing to say. Let's check out what happened here. Oh, I was in the silver. But wow, look at silver pumping, guys. I look at silver pump. We're going to get into silver as well. Look at silver pumping. My goodness, this is wild. I did short silver earlier as a little experiment on BTCC. Just to see what happened right up here. We came down a little bit. I could have taken a small profit, but I did not. Man, silver's pumping, guys. I'm trading silver with Tether as margin on BTCC. Jason Casper plus BTCC equals pure joy and happiness. 10% bonus first time deposits. All right, pretty crazy. Yeah, so I personally feel that a move to the downside on Bitcoin is the most probable right now. And I'm still going to remain bullish as long as we are in this sideways range. When I say this sideways range, I am speaking of this chunk of consolidation right here, okay? Because of the way the daily looks right now, I do still believe that even in the event of a move down to the bottom of the range, we could do something like this, all right? I really think that. That's just me personally, all right? Shout out to everybody in the chat who retweeted, who reliked the dang stream. You want me to rap? Oh my goodness. LMAL long boys, I'm 20x on silver, 75x on gold. Be careful. Honestly. Silver, in my opinion, is super bullish, alright? Silver, in my opinion, is super bullish. I know people say the top is coming in soon for silver. Obviously, a top is coming in soon. Oop, hang on, let me put all my TA back here. I'm going to put my TA back real quick. Here's the thing. I'm a big silver guy. A lot of people don't know this about me, but before I was into crypto, I was into gold and silver. All right, it's being into gold and silver that got me into crypto in the first place, because you have to understand the mindset that got me into crypto was the fact that the Federal Reserve is stealing people's wealth from them with the fiat dollar. And so as a younger man, I needed to find ways that I could put my cash into something that wasn't going to lose its value. And so for me, that was gold and silver. Now, let's go to the 1 year time frame on silver. And let's put on the stochastic RSI, all right? I want you to notice something about the stochastic RSI on silver. The top is typically not in. And we don't really have much data here. But really, we could say until we start to get the stochastic RSI cross, there's plenty of room to go, right? I mean, every time we get the stochastic RSI cross, that's where we get some years of downside. We have plenty of room for more upside based on this stochastic RSI, all right? Now, I know this is the early chart, and I know that the stochastic RSI is not like a predictive indicator, but you know, it wasn't until we had a bearish divergence on the stochastic RSI, where we had a double cross of the blue crossing below the orange, that it really led to some downside. Keep in mind, in my opinion, the price of silver has been being suppressed for decades through things like spoofing, and I know this is a controversial subject, but, you know, based on my own research, and you do your own, because of the ability to short silver via ETF, short silver on paper, it allows institutions to short silver with a quantity that is greater than the actual supply of physical silver. And so on paper, the price of silver can be suppressed because big bankers and institutions have the ability to short silver with a quantity of contracts that is more than the actual physical supply of silver. So there's a discrepancy between silver on paper and silver in real life. Just like there's a discrepancy between inflation on paper and the consumer price index and inflation in real life. Inflation's been going down, says the Federal Reserve. We can cut rates again. Yet in real life, the literal price of things has doubled. How does that work? It's because bankers and institutions are very good at making things look great on paper, and there's a big divergence in reality, okay? But it's gotten to the point where it can no longer be suppressed because we've actually had a silver deficit for the past 5 years. The demand for silver is getting greater and greater and greater because it's needed for things like electrical vehicles, solar panels, and other things. And now with all the volatility in the world and people realizing inflation's not going away even though it's going down on paper and the Fed is looking like they want to cut rates again, retail is flooding into silver now. So we have institutions, big institutions, actually needing silver for their production of goods and services. We have retail looking for a safe haven asset. Historically speaking, gold and silver is money. And we have this giant cup and handle here on silver, which is breaking out. All right, we had about a 200% gain in 2025, and the target of this cup and handle is going to be around $100 per ounce silver. Now, that's going to be a key psychological level. It's my personally believe that we're going to see some kind of consolidation around $100 before another move to the upside. And I could be wrong. We might just keep pumping, but you could see that we're just shy of our target on this cup and handle, which makes me think we are going to see more upside. And also, I do believe when we get to $100, we're going to go through it because of the hype, right? Maybe have somewhat of a big old pump above it. And then I do think we're probably going to start to form some kind of a consolidation before more upside eventually on silver. And again, this 12-month RSI stochastic is a pretty good indicator, I think, of the upside that we have. But let's go to the 2-month stochastic RSI on silver. All right, we are starting to see right here a bit of a cross, but thankfully what we don't have is a bearish divergence. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on the yearly, and I'm going to be keeping my eye on the 2-month stochastic RSI. And when this thing starts to give us divergences, right, and the 1 year starts to give us a cross, looking like it's going to cross, then I'd say, you know what, that's when silver's probably going to cool off for a little bit, because obviously nothing can go up forever, right? What goes up must come down. Now, you can be bullish on an asset and still be ready for it to come down, all right? Because it has to. Now, I'm not saying it's going to crash all the way down, but what I am saying is at some point we're going to have to form a range. At some point we're going to have some consolidation. And of course, those always offer opportunities to get in an asset on spot, of course. And also they offer us the opportunity to look for trades on leverage. Or if you don't trade on leverage, that's fine as well. So yeah, I mean, look at this. This is so crazy. Silver actually gapping to the upside today, opening up Monday morning. We have a big gap to the upside on silver over the weekend, where we closed the Friday candle here at $90.07, and we opened it up just under $91, leaving behind this beautiful gap here on the chart. And so look, the trend is your friend until the end of the trend here for silver. And so here's the local environment that I'm looking at right now when it comes to trading, right? There would be a few places I'd be interested in getting in on some silver. The first one would be if we come back down inside of this zone, filling the gap, right? Filling the gap. That's going to come and bring us down to the Fibonacci golden pocket, the value area low of the range where locally silver, since they're oversold, undervalued, right? And also the filling of the gap, right? Gaps, they do like to fill. I mean, look at this, you know, when you get a little gap over here, for example, the Friday candle closes here, the Sunday candle opens up, it wicks down to fill that gap. Let's zoom in so we can see, right? We closed the candle on Friday right here. The Sunday candle opened up right here, leaving behind a gap. Guess what we did? We wicked down, we filled the gap, and then boom, baby, we pump city. Pump city, baby. Very similar could happen right now for silver, where we have a lot of confluence down there. Of course, even more locally, we could be looking at this if you're like a day trader right now. You know, I'm going to go to the 12-minute time frame, which is this. We have this bull flag here, and we've just broken out of it. So that means we could be looking for a local retest, back test, pull the fib from low to high. And let's see what we got here. Let's put on our 0.5 Fibonacci fib retracement from that low. I mean, we do have a beautiful zone of confluence, in my opinion, right here between 93.5 and about 93.15. That would be a beautiful breakout and back test of some key support resistance flip zone. Let's see if we have anything else there. We're going to go ahead and put on an anchored VWAP from that low. Look at this. Looking at this range from the low, the volume weighted average price is coming in also right at 93.50. So, you know, the trend is your friend until the end. coming back for those areas, I would have to say I would be interested in looking for a long on silver. And I wish I had put more into this long trade here on Friday, but I'm just getting used to BTCC. I'm just kind of feeling around the market here, you know. I'm feeling around the market, but you guys are going to start seeing me trade silver more often because this is a volatile asset. And just a reminder, BTCC giving 10% bonuses for everybody sign up using the Jason Casper link. Also, guys, KCEX, best deal on fees if you want to trade Bitcoin and crypto. And also, if you're looking for an amazing new DEX, check out Antarctic Exchange. This beautiful DEX, very low fees. I love it. Antarctic. Links in the pinned comment and description. Also, guys, if you want to join the Casper Crew VIP Discord, where we give the setup in advance, where we let you know the trades we're taking, just like the dang trade that I took last night, right here, let the whole dang community know that I was taking this long trade. You can go to jasoncaspertrading.com, click the link to join the best trading community in the world. Yeah, man, so I'm expecting silver over $100. That's going to be a move up from here to $100. That's going to be quite a bit. I think that's like 7%. Let's see. You know, that is quite a bit. This is like old school Bitcoin gains, right? 6%. 6% to the upside. So, you know, if I'm looking for scalp trades on silver, you know, if we get a move down to here, you know, we're talking some nice risk to reward ratio. We're talking an 11-to-1 risk reward ratio. We could hit our take profit one easy after, you know, just a 2.5% move, lock in a 2-to-1 risk reward. And guys, if this sounds like absolute gibberish, risk reward and all this nonsense, look, here's what you got to do. You got to head on over to the Jason Casper YouTube channel and check out the free course. I have a free course, 100% free, under playlists, right here. Jason Casper free trading course, 18 sessions of how to become a confident, profitable trader, absolutely free. All right, there's literally nothing you have to pay. I'm not even joking when I say the information in this course. People charge thousands for it. I have paid $2,000 for a trading course that has like an eighth of the information here. All right. So take advantage of this. Seriously, it's a great resource. Now, Bitcoin locally. Let's come back to Bitcoin locally here because we are in the long trade. I've currently got about $300,000 on Bitcoin longs right now. I currently have about $150,000 on Bitcoin shorts. I'm double long than short. I'm nervous about the longs, but remember, we've already locked in profits on the long trades. I've already made almost 20 grand on the longs. And so for me, if we dump, it's just an opportunity to look to compound and add to new longs. Let's go to the 1 hour on Bitcoin and see what's happening. Oh my goodness. Scary stuff, guys. Scary stuff. Not really. Yeah, so this does look like a bear flag right here. I'm not gonna lie. We do sometimes see these break to the upside. All right. We do sometimes see them break to the upside. Money flow on the 1 hour. Let's look at some bullish factors. Okay. As we came down, we saw a bullish divergence, the classic uneven butt cheek pattern. And now we're seeing the money flow trying to curve to the upside on the 1 hour. That's the only bullish thing we've got. Let's go to our 24-minute. 24-minute, also with the bullish divergence. And really, you know, the reason I took the trade, the reason I took the long trade right from that wick last night is simply because, guys, the criteria was met, all right? The criteria was met. In the Casper Crew VIP Discord, the criteria was met, all right? Let's see something here. Let's see, how was the criteria met? I was looking for, you know, what was I looking for? I was looking for bullish divergences on our 24-minute time frame, right? 24-minute time frame, 12-minute, 6-minute. I wanted to dip down right to that level for like an immediate bounce, right? And so, not financial advice, but the criteria was met last night, all right? And so that is why I got into that trade. And when we look at the chart, you can see we had really nice money flow Money flow continuing to come to the upside. We're not seeing bearish divergences, which is nice. Let's go to the 12-minute here. 12-minute not seeing bearish divergences either. All right, it's looking acceptable. Let's go down lower. All right, then we'll take a look at the order flow. Slight bear div on the 6-minute here. I would be interested to see what happens if we come down to test the Fibonacci golden pocket, right? Because the fact that we're not seeing bearish divergences, I would be quite interested in coming down to that golden pocket just to see if we can get a bounce. I mean, we have the high volume node of the range here. All right, let's see what happens, okay? Let's see what happens as we come down to that area. Maybe we do something like this, make a higher low, because we haven't seen the divergences yet. You know, additionally, guys, well, I'm not going to say that here. All right, if you want to know all my views, check out the Casper Crew VIP Discord, where I've literally given every potential scenario and what it would take for me to get into a trade from that scenario. Wario, Cablario, Casterio. Let's take a look at the order flow on Market Monkey. Man, that candle last night was something else, was it not, guys? That candle last night was something else. Okay, so we are seeing some slightly bearish CBD here, guys. All right, some slightly bearish CBD up here. We are seeing some what appears to be long trades getting absorbed. We're also seeing quite a few shorts opening. This is a recipe for a drop to the downside locally here. Okay, now this is nothing I would necessarily trade in the moment, to be honest with you. You know what's interesting? Wait, let me go back to this. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I thought we didn't have bearish divergence. We actually do have bearish divergence here. Wow. Look at that. We took the liquidity. Man, that was dumb of me not to see. Yeah, we've got some bearish div. We've got some bearish div here, man. Okay, yeah, we could get a bit of a drop, man. Forgive me. I actually didn't see that. I didn't see that bearish div. I didn't see that we took that liquidity until I looked at the order flow. Yeah, so we took that liquidity. We saw some longs trying to long this breakout here, right? And they are, honestly, let's see, not too many. A couple million, which are currently under the water right now. They are currently under the water. I have to give a big reminder to everybody to like the video, like the stream, okay? Silver and Japanese yen goes parabolic. Gold's about to pop. We'll take a look at gold, baby. Shout out to Daryl Oofton. What's going on, bro? God bless. God bless. Do I think Trump will take Gland? I don't know what that means. Shout out to Chris P. Bacon Jr. And shout out to Divine Hood. What is going on, Divine Hood? God bless you, bro. Shout out to TNT Media 1010 and TJ Johnson. Are there any teats in the chart? We've got upside down teats, my man. Let's see. Guys, look. I'll be right back, man. Give me 1 second here. All right, Bitcoin taking a little bit of a dumperoni here, and I'm gonna log in, I think, to Antarctic Exchange here. Give me 1 second, guys, while I log in because we are. Let's see. Yeah, let me go ahead and log into Antarctic. What's cool about Antarctic, guys, is, again, you can log in with a hot wallet, a cold wallet, whatever wallet you want. All your own assets are held on your own wallet, right? And let's not forget to smash up the likes, guys. Let's not forget to retweet the stream, guys. Let's not forget to subscribe to the channel, y'all. All right, here we go, baby. Now that we're dumping, I wanted to get short, baby. It's time to get short so you don't get hort. You know, good old Antarctic. And honestly, the thing I like most about Antarctic, guys, is the fact that it's blue and purple, right? It is blue and purple, just like your boy Jay Casper. Jay Casper is blue and purple. Tether gold is about to explode. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Trump has a speech. All right, let's see. Does Trump have a speech right now? Let's check that out. Let's check that out. Okay, yeah. Let's check it out.
They have a great NATO leader, and they've gone up to 5% from 2% GDP. That's a big step. But they have to be very careful with their immigration policy, and they have to be very, because, you know, I will just say, to be nice, that there are certain places in Europe that are very important that are no longer recognizable. I'm being very nice. I'm being very diplomatic when I say that. They are not recognizable, and they have to be careful on energy because they're putting windmills all over the place and losing a fortune. They're destroying their country. They're just destroying the beautiful landscapes, the beautiful everything. They're doing. And by the way, in case you people don't know, I'm not much of a windmill person. I can proudly say, Doug, that we have not approved one windmill since I've been in office, and we're going to keep it that way. My goal is to not let any windmill be built. They're losers. They lose money. They destroy your landscape. They kill your birds. They're all made in China. And all you have to do is, you know, just about all of the windmills are made in China, the structures. All you have to do is say to China, how many windmill areas do you have in China? So far, they're not able to find any. They use coal and they use oil and gas and some nuclear, not much, but they don't have windmills. They make them and sell them to suckers like Europe and suckers like the United States before. They are the worst form of energy, the most expensive form of energy, and in 8 years they're rotted out anyway. Go take a look at Palm Springs, California, and take a look at what that looks like. It looks like a junkyard of steel. So we don't approve, and I've told my people, we will not approve windmills. Maybe we get forced to do something because some stupid person in the Biden administration agreed to do something years ago. We will not approve any windmills in this country.
On Venezuela, is it ultimately more important to you to establish stability there or democracy there?
Well, you're talking about maybe the same thing. I mean, you're talking about stability or democracy. I don't know. To me, it's almost the same thing. We want stability, but we do want democracy. Ultimately, it'll be democracy. Peter?
I do have a policy question, President Trump, but I'm having a hard time seeing here. I see the American flag lapel pin. What is the other lapel pin on
Somebody
your jacket?
gave me this. You know what that is? That's called a happy Trump. And considering the fact that I'm never happy, I'm never satisfied, I will never be satisfied until we make America great again, but we're getting pretty close, I'll tell you what. This is called a happy Trump. Somebody gave it to me, I put it on.
Thank you. And the policy question. How much money are you thinking of giving people in Greenland to get them on board with a possible U.S.
I'm not talking about money for Greenland yet. I might talk about that. But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. Okay?
Is it an old stream?
I would like to make a deal, you know, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way. And I'm a man, and by the way, I'm a fan of Denmark too. I have to tell you, and you know, they've been very nice to me. I'm a big fan, but you know, the fact that they had a boat land.
Cure, stop migrant crime, ensure.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is an old stream, man. I don't know. I actually don't know.
We need that because if you take a look outside of Greenland right now, there are Russian destroyers, there are Chinese destroyers and bigger submarines all over the place. We're not going to have Russia or China occupy Greenland, and that's what they're going to do if we don't. So we're going to be doing something with Greenland, either the nice way or the more difficult way. Please, go ahead, ma'am.
Mr. President, why is it so important to you to own it when you have a military presence there, which you could expand to affect the security?
Because when we own it, we defend it. You don't
All right.
defend leases the same way.
All right,
Yeah.
apparently it's an old recording then. I'm sorry, guys. It is interesting because I do agree with him about windmills. I looked into windmills when I was looking to power my house, because right now I'm on solar, right? I'm 100% solar powered. And I looked into windmills, and they were not a good investment at all. They were not a good investment at all. Those dang windmills, honestly. All right, let's put back on the music. Got to put back on the music. All right, you know, there are some interesting things. Speaking of Bitcoin dumping down, I mean, speaking of Bitcoin dumping down, to be honest, I mean, would you take a look at this? Would you take a look at this? We've got a news article here. Bitcoin slides down below 93k as 680 million longs are liquidated. According to Glassnode, the push toward 96 was driven by leverage, while CryptoQuant warns demand remains too weak to confirm a trend reversal. 680 million liquidated on that drop last night. It's actually pretty crazy, to be honest with you. So apparently, as we lost $93,000, we saw about 600 million worth of longs wiped out on derivatives markets as leverage traders were forced out. And the move reflects a shift in short-term sentiment and reduced risk appetite. Some traders were taking profits on the long, and others are actually short in the market. Very interesting. Bitcoin being under $93,000 sparks significant false selling, highlighting the short-term volatility as leverage positions get squeezed and bulls recess near-term direction. So, I have to be honest, the move to the downside, if we're going to be honest about it, not only do we see lots of people liquidated trying to long the highs, but I think the technicals also pointing to more downside. You know, let's not forget the fact that what's actually happening here, right? We came up to this level. This is a very key level. And again, when we took the highs, right, we go to the daily time frame. We've got confirmed bearish divergence. And as we're above the level, right, what was I saying? I was basically saying, like, if we start to close candles below 94.6, we'll get the confirmed bearish divergence. It means more downside is probable right now. Probably, if I was a betting man, I'd probably have to bet that we'd come down toward the low of the range here, around 84.5, at least. That's what I think is probably going to happen. I mean, not only that, but look, all things are pointed down. We'll come below. If we close this daily candle below the value area high, in my opinion, it's probably over. It's probably over for the bulls. All right, man. At least locally, that's the thing. And remember, we come down to the lows, and I'm looking for the long trade as per my analysis from the beginning. Right? just to quickly go over everything again, my perspective on the markets is that we've printed a major top signal here, right? We've got the bearish divergence on the 2-month time frame. And so until I see something that's going to make me say this time is different, the 4-year cycle's broken, until we see something like that, I have to assume it means about 9 months of sideways and down, right? We confirm the red dot over here. It literally, we had 9 months of sideways and down before we enter into the bull market. All right, we come to the weekly time frame once again. What do we got down here? We've got the big old beer belly bottom. Right, the beer belly bottom. There comes a point in every man's life. 35, married, 3 kids, job he hates, drives a minivan, balding. He looks at himself in the mirror. He says, something's got to change. Something's got to change. I can't go on living like this, all right? I'm 25 stone. I don't know what that means because I'm not really a Brit, but if I was a Brit, I'd say, my goodness, I've gained 25 stone. And so he goes to the gym, he starts exercising, he gets on the treadmill. At first, the weight comes off easy because it's easy to be in a caloric deficit when all you do is sit on the couch and drink beer. But eventually his metabolism slows down, he hits a burnout. He wasn't lifting weights, just doing cardio, right? So he gets a little bit improvement, but then he comes down more to the downside. That's exactly what I believe is happening here on the weekly, right? Bitcoin's like, what have I become of myself? I've gained 25 stone. I need to come to the upside. Bitcoin gets on the treadmill, not lifting weights, big caloric deficit. We get a little bit of relief to the upside, and then eventually we burn out, we make another low. That's what I'm looking for right now, pretty much. Now, we come to the daily. And again, remember, we've come up to the top of the range. We've got ourselves the liquidity grab of the highs with the bearish divergence. And so 2 months says sideways and down for about a year. Weekly says we've got some time to get on the treadmill, lose our beer gut temporarily until we gain it back worse in our 40s and 50s. But the daily is saying, you know what? If we come down to these levels and we take this liquidity and we just continue to trade this as a sideways range, after coming to the highs of the range with a bearish divergence, well then if we come to the lows of the range, now with a bullish divergence, all right, we got the deep momentum waves over here. We got the skinny momentum waves over here. You know, giving us the good old-fashioned uneven butt cheek pattern. Big, lots of biscuits in the left hand. Hobnobs, biscuits and fancies. And all those other delectable treats that us people from across the pond love to eat. Hobnobs. One of my favorite hobnobs. Got the hobnobs on the left. Lots of crisps. You know, that's the British word for chips. And chips is the British word for French fries. Got hobnobs and chips. And crisps, right? And over on the right cheek, none of that. We ain't got none of that. Just what's those things? What? Weetabix, right? Or wheat? I don't know. But look, that could give us the bullish divergence. We could get that move up. That move up, that's going to basically allow our beer belly friend to go to the gym. He'll stay motivated for about 6 months. All right, before he falls off the train again. And then I think we could probably have that reversal. And then I do believe by the fall of 2026, we'll be bottoming out. Right? What I would love to see, to be honest, is something like this. Now I say something, thing with an F. Right? We don't say something across the pond, no, something. Right? So, honestly, I think if we can get that relief, all right, whether we get the relief up to make a lower high, even if we take the liquidity again, what I would love to see as we come to the summer and the fall is the market cipher B on the weekly start to look like this. All right, if we start to get a bullish divergence, that's honestly how I would assess the low be in. Very similar to the way we had the bullish divergence over here. All right, we came down to the lows. The market cipher was getting higher over time. That was the bottom. You know, I always do this as just a mental exercise, but we flipped the chart upside down. I mean, right now, this looks extremely bullish upside down, does it not? Does it not look bullish? What do we got here? We're breaking out of the trend line, all right? Falling wedge type pattern. We're breaking out, right? Let's put this on log scale, actually. I like my high time frame analysis on log. I mean, would you look at this here? We're literally breaking out of a major trend line. And again, like we've got bullish divergences out the wazoo. I mean, when the chart's upside down, right? We've got clearly multiple drives of butt cheeks. We got butt cheeks here, butt cheeks there, butt cheeks everywhere. 1, 2, 3 butt cheeks in a row, a tricheecular formation. Right? We get the breakout. Looks like, what does it look like? It looks like, remember, the chart's upside down. Looks like we got the breakout, we come for a retest, and then pump, right? We pump until we get the bearish divergences, right? We pump until we get the bearish divergences, exactly like what happened over here. Exactly like what happened over here. I mean, would you look at this? We had the trend line, all right? We could even pull the Gareth-Salloway pattern. My goodness, it makes me want to grow out my man bun. Look, we pull the Gareth-Salloway pattern. We break out, we pump until we get the bearish divergence, which is actually the bullish divergence because the chart's upside down, right? That's what I'm looking at right now. Whoa, what did I just do? That's what I'm looking at right now with Bitcoin. You guys know. Someone says Trump is the Antichrist. Is that true? You really think so? You think Trump's the old Atlantic City? Phew. I don't know about that. Nah, Trump's not the Antichrist. Look, I'll tell you who the Antichrist is in a later stream, alright? In the later stream. What's the target? I'll tell you the target, alright? Let's discuss Bitcoin's target. Alright? Now, this is pretty wild, okay? But, look at this here. Alright, here are my actual targets. My actual targets for Bitcoin are, number one, the mid-50s, which is essentially just a backtest of this, right? Essentially, we're going to be backtesting this, the Fibonacci Golden Pocket. And this is in the event of a lackluster bear market, right? A lackluster bear market. Because, keep in mind here, that we had a lackluster bull market, so therefore we could have a lackluster bear market and just come down to the bottom of this local range and then continue in the bull. Like, that's totally fine. But if things are going to continue as they have, well, guess what, man? Every single bear bull market cycle, we come down to the 786 fib. I'm not going to show you for time's sake, but every single time we come down to 786, and that's going to put Bitcoin just under 40K. All right. Now, remember, last cycle, people said we will never see Bitcoin under 30,000 again. Now, people are saying we're never going to see Bitcoin under 70K again. So, you know, once again, until the 4-year cycle actually does break, I'm going to just have to assume it's still going to go. All right? I'm going to have to assume it's still going to go until it actually does break, you know? But that's kind of what I'm looking at. My plan for the bull market, this coming bull market, my ultimate plan. I'm not saying for certain, please, because I'm a trader, so I trade the data on the chart in the moment, right? But my spot plan right now for Bitcoin is going to be something like this. I would love for us to do something like this, come up, and then come down here, consolidate a little bit, get one last dump into the fall, you know, and then head into the bull market. And eventually, by like 2029, I'm expecting us to be over 200K, you know? I'm expecting us to be around at least 200K. So this is like my ideal scenario here to like make money on Bitcoin, right? If I can buy 40K, that's a 400% move. In my book, that's great. You know, like, if you're the type of person that wants to chase insane pumps, then I don't think Bitcoin's the asset to do that anymore. You know, I don't think it is. Like, the last life-changing money we had was in 2020. You know, where we had 2,000% on Bitcoin. You know, the time before that, you know, was this. We had about 12,000%. I mean, it's just, you know, from 12,000 to 2,000. And then this last bull run, you know, 700. I think the next bull run, looking for a 400% move, is is pretty reasonable, right? But yeah, I don't think Bitcoin's the asset to do that anymore. You know, I'm very blessed. Like I said, everything good in my life is because of God. The Lord Jesus has blessed me so much. And when I look back at my life, and when I look back at how I FOMO'd into Bitcoin at $600, not knowing what I was doing, being a total market noob, just literally listening to a podcast and putting pretty much everything I had been saving since the time I had gotten married. So literally 2 years of me and my wife busting our booties, saving money as much as possible. We put into Bitcoin. The Lord blessed me in that decision, you know, 3,000% gain. But now, if I was in the same position, right, I would not be able to make that kind of money in Bitcoin. And it's difficult with these altcoins, right? Because it's a hit or miss. It's a really hit or miss thing. It's very dangerous to be putting that much money into alts, you know? Especially this past cycle, alts did do nothing, which is crazy to me. They did do nothing. They did do nothing. They did do nothing. Shout out to Andy from Bitcoin Census. God bless you, bro. I pray the Lord bless you and your family, Andy from Bitcoin Census. You are the man. All right? Andy is the man. How many Bitcoin did I buy? I don't remember the exact number, but I put at the time around 40K into Bitcoin. And it was enough for us to buy a property out in the country and start a little farm. Praise the Lord. Elon is the false prophet. Trump is the Antichrist. Alts did plenty. They handed me my arse on a silver plate. Haha, plate. Shout out to 00 Chris. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm feeling for Bitcoin, and honestly for altcoins too. Like, here's the thing. I am not bearish. I cannot be bearish on assets like ETH. Right? I cannot be. I truly believe that ETH is consolidating in a sideways range, and eventually this range is going to break out, right? Do I like the fact that we have a 2-month bearish divergence about to confirm here? No. I do not like that at all. However, you know, like I've said many times, I am not selling any ETH that I bought in November 2022. I will never forget sitting there at the counter in the kitchen with my wife the day that FTX went down. We had just gotten home from my parents' house. It was a Tuesday when the news broke. And I remember sitting there with her, buying all this Ethereum, buying all this Bitcoin. I have not sold any. For me right now, I'm looking at ETH as a long-term investment, even if we come all the way back down to this area. I would not sell at the bottom. Ethereum is a bullish asset, all right, in general. Crypto is still the future of finance, all right? I understand, you know, gold and silver are very good assets to hold. I myself am a big gold and silver guy. But, you know, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Bitcoin, Chainlink, AVAX, like, these are legit projects which I do believe have a future. I don't think this is it. So even if it takes longer than we hope, I'm still looking to get out of here with some decent profits. Some decent profits. You know, that's my current outlook on this. And here's another thing. Assume that my view on Bitcoin does play out. Right? Again, just to summarize my view on Bitcoin, it's this. I expect this range right here, even if we come back down to the lows, eventually we'll break out. All right. If this breaks out, we make a lower high, or if we make a higher high, right? This honestly could open the door for some alts seeing some crazy moves. Like, if Bitcoin is holding above 96, that does leave the door open for ETH to squeeze up to 4,000. I mean, look at the $4,000 level on ETH and just look at the weekly time frame. That's such an easy move. We have no resistance. We have literally no resistance. And we also have this, right? We've got the introverted head and shoulder, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder. introvert, right? No friends in high school, never gets invited to the parties, has to sit all alone at the high school cafeteria table by himself because he's such a loser. All right? It's very sad eating your loser lunch all by yourself, trust me. But here's the thing, I was working a job the whole time at McDonald's in 2008, 2009. Put all my money into Bitcoin, 2010, 2011. And now, all those girls from high school that wouldn't talk to me at all, they're all hitting me up, hey Jay, you know, how you doing? It's been a long time since high school. They're trying to tell me that they thought I was cool in high school. I said, why didn't you tell me back then? That's the thing, no one pays attention to the introvert until the breakout. But there is the potential that we could see ETH come up to 4,000 at least, and maybe, at least make a new all-time high, maybe come up to the Fibonacci extension at 5,500. Obviously, 10 grand is my final target eventually for ETH, eventually. But it would not surprise me if Bitcoin holds above 96, given the bottomness of the weekly here, it would not surprise me to see ETH do something like this before coming back down to the range again. And then eventually, you know, when Bitcoin starts to pump, again, we see ETH finally hit those targets. Like, that would not surprise me. But it has to happen quick, because here's the thing. It really needs to happen before February. It needs to happen quick. We need to see Bitcoin get some kind of a crazy move quick before February. If it's March, honestly, man, I don't know. I just don't know. Guys, make sure to smash up the dang likes, okay? Shout out to Crypto Crank. He says, LOL, I had no idea you're a freaking giant. LOL, towered over lifer. I'm a tall guy, alright? I'm a tall guy. Seriously. If you started from zero again, what would be my strategy? Man, that's tough because it's a totally different environment right now, right? I would say I would go slow and steady. You know, I'd be a slow and steady investor. I would day trade, slow and steady, good risk management, stack my gains. I would try and play the big market swings. If the 4-year cycle's still alive, you know, I'd be looking to load up on Bitcoin and other like top 20s on spot, you know. And also, here's the thing. I'm a big, like, when you make money, also, like, invest that money in things that are not just crypto and stocks. Like, get a financial advisor, put it into a money market account, like, find some you know, ways to diversify your money so that your money can make money, right? But I'm like a slow and steady. I wouldn't, if I could do it again, see, here's what's weird. In my immaturity and my naivety, I was blessed by God to what could have turned into something. And what's funny is when you're in your 20s and 40K is your life savings, you know, that's nothing in the big scheme, right? So who knows? It's hard for me to get back into that mentality of, if I lose it all, who even cares? It's basically my mentality. And I had so much faith in Bitcoin at the time too. Like, I had so much faith in Bitcoin in 2016 that I was not concerned at all about going broke. I was convinced that I was going to look like a genius to all my friends and families. And what's funny is it worked out. I truly look at that as Jesus blessing me in my naivety. It's so hard to say what I would do if I had to go back to zero. I'll get back to you on that. Would I sell my apartment for a Bitcoin this bear market? I would not, no. Yeah, Crypto Crank, I gotta hit you up, bro. Create a business and a brand. That's also true, 100% given, right? Always create a business and a brand. Like my man Crypto Crank. You know, he's doing that now. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the picture of me and Crypto Lifer. Here we go. All right. Don't look at the legs, you know. Just look at the upper bodies. You know. But yeah, I'm like 6'3". It's impossible to tell how big somebody is on the internet. Isn't that funny? That's so funny. It was awkward. It wasn't awkward at all, actually. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting Sam, honestly. It was a great time. It was a wonderful time. But that first handshake, you know, it's funny because we see each other on the internet all the time. But it's like, yo, what's up, bro? It's like, man, like I'm, you know, looking at each other like, okay, like how big are you in real life? You know? Do I still have that faith in Bitcoin? Well, I am bullish on Bitcoin. I am very bullish on Bitcoin. I don't think it's too crazy to see Bitcoin at $1 million. I'll be honest. It's not crazy to me at all. I've seen it go from 600 to 100,000. All right, more than a 100x. So it's nothing for another 10x. Also, it's a pretty small market cap in general. So there's a lot of room for growth here. And we're seeing institutions and governments get on board. Do I still hold the same conviction? Here's the thing. When I first got into Bitcoin, and maybe some of you old school Bitcoiners can relate to this, but there was the Bitcoin community was very different than it is now. All right. It was full of people who hated the government and who were very, very libertarian, and the idea that BlackRock would launch a Bitcoin ETF would make an old school Bitcoiner vomit, okay? The idea that the government is stockpiling Bitcoin, you know, this whole trope of we welcome large scale adoption, that was not a thing back then. It was much more like, this is our money to screw the government, to screw over the institutions, and to screw the banks. And now people are happy that banks and institutions and governments are getting into Bitcoin. And so it's not what it was supposed to be, right? It's not what it was supposed to be. And look, I myself am part of that problem for sure. Because the reality is, although we like the idea of saying, you know, screw you, central banks and all this, at the end of the day, we're in Bitcoin to make money. And one of the ways we're going to make money is if governments and institutions get their dirty paws all over Bitcoin, right? And what that does is it makes it first of all, it's no longer private, right? And it's not being used as a peer-to-peer means of exchange, right? It's not being used as this like underground means of exchange. It's being used as an asset. It's being taxed like an asset, like any other thing you would hold. Capital gains tax and all this. So I don't have the same feelings towards it, but I definitely do hold to a bullish bias on it, because I believe, just like the internet, where in the beginning of the internet there was so much freedom to do whatever you wanted before the big companies and institutions came in and centralized the internet and started deleting things off of search engines and started co-opting everything. I mean, look at YouTube, for example, right? YouTube used to be a place where anybody just posts these videos and, you know, anyone could get big and it was wonderful. And then Google buys YouTube, and now, like, you try and search for something on YouTube, you're gonna get like mainstream media crap. You know, it's been completely co-opted by Google. And in a way, that's good for YouTubers, because now YouTubers can actually have a career doing YouTube. But it's bad in the sense that the more centralized things get, the more control there is, right? And so I do believe we have another few years of being able to really do well in crypto before it just becomes, in my opinion, a digital prison. In fact, even this Clarity Act that's in the Senate right now, I mean, as far as I'm aware, there's some very authoritarian things in there where they could like freeze your crypto transactions and, you know, all this kind of like 1984 type stuff. It's like, I don't necessarily think I like where this is heading, man. You know? But do I hate leg day? No, I love leg day. I love leg day. You know, I'm not even kidding. I had leg day this morning. Squats, deadlifts, hip thrusts, calves. I start every workout with calves. I'm not even joking, guys. I start every single workout with calves. Every single workout I start with calves. It doesn't matter if it's a arm day, a leg day, chest day, upper body, lower body, full body. I start every workout with calves, man. All right, I'll tell you. And I feel like I'm pretty strong. I feel like my lower body's strong. It's just small. Also, it's hard to fill out. When you're 6'3", man, it's hard to fill out. I'm gonna be honest. You know, it is hard to fill out that frame. Shout out to TJ Johnson, who says, "God love every day we're blessed to be in the gym." Amen, bro. One of my favorite things is hitting the gym. Praise the Lord for lifting weights. I can't imagine life without lifting weights. I'm so thankful every day I get to lift weights. Yeah, it was supposed to be peer-to-peer money, not investment. Exactly. Peer-to-peer money. Yeah, the government's not there to save you. That's my view. Shout out to Larry Garcia. He says, "I remember when I had a date from the internet, and when I met her, she was a giant. I was like, yo." That's funny, bro. Shout out to Dime. What would I do now? I don't know. Is deadliest lifts your bro? I do love deadlifting. I love deadlifting so much. I mean, tall guys are good at deadlifting, you know? Any trade setup for now? Well, if we make another low, long opportunity. You know, is there a short to be had right now? I mean, the only way I'd say that we have a short right now is if we come back with some bearish CBD into the golden pocket 786 after this 5-minute change of market structure, right? Something like this, right? That would be a potential setup of trading this chunk of price action right here, right? After taking the high, we make a lower low, taking out this low. We make a lower high into the Fibonacci 786 golden pocket zone, and then we target. Honestly, where would a TP1 have to be? Would have to be, well, we're already bouncing from the golden pocket, so we'd have to at least come down to a lower low. It's tough. Like, it's tough. This is tough price action to get some good setups on. Unless you're like there in the moment, you got some good indicators to get in a low time frame trade here. You know, looking at that order flow or whatever. Shout out to Ran DMV. May the Lord bless you with health. All right. May the Lord bless us all with health. In Jesus' name. Thank you, Lord. Nothing builds calves like a good old hike. Man, you know what? You know what I think it is, Splash? I really think that I just don't have good connection with my calves. I think when I walk, I don't use my calves. You know? Have you ever tried ashwagandha? Yeah. In fact, I'm overdosed on ashwagandha right now. Yeah, you know what's funny? People talk about like the Stairmaster for building glutes. I never felt the glutes on the stairs ever. Until I specifically went out of my way to train my glutes. Like, it wasn't until I started actually... Because, you know, your whole life on the internet, people say squatting will build your glutes. Squatting never built my glutes. What did build my glutes was barbell hip thrusts. And glute bridges and stuff. And then, once I learned how to, like, feel my glutes, then I could squat and get glute DOMs. But before that, I would just get quad DOMs, you know? So I feel like I don't have a good mind-muscle connection with my calves. And I try. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. When I train calves, I always go to failure, and I feel that stretch in the calf, and I feel the squeeze. But they just don't grow, you know? They just don't grow. Bro, do I use a TPO chart? Yeah, I do. John Jones? Who's John Jones? We're gonna have to do a little bit of Googling. Google goggling. John Jones. Google goggles. John Jones calves. Yeah, I feel like I'm identical to this guy. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go, there you go. All right. There you go. He could probably squat a lot too. Yeah, I use TPO charts a lot. Squats are king. No one will convince me otherwise. I love squats. All right, I'm not even gonna lie. I love me some squat. I was squatting this morning. I love squats and I love deadlifts. It's funny, people think. The truth is, because here's what's so funny. All right, here's what's so funny. What's so funny is, you know, I always joke around that I never train legs and I always skip leg day. But I love leg day. I love squatting. There's something about getting under a heavy bar where you might not be okay after. Like, let's be real. Like, part of the enjoyment of lifting weights is when you're squatting, when you're deadlifting, you know, you're getting under some heavy weight, you might not be all right after, you know? But yeah, I actually love leg day. So. I love leg day. Here's a picture of me squatting this morning. See, look, you know, if you just saw, that's understood, that, you know, if you just saw me here, right, no calves, right, you'd say, all right, you'd say, okay, all right, you know, the quads, they're decent, right, just, you know, the hamstrings, you could see the hamstrings, right, but the calves, man, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Look, they're lean, man. You got the veins popping out, you know? You got the veins popping out. I love lunges as well. One of my favorites. Alright, not quicker. Noticed a lot of growth when I started thinking about the workout as flexing the muscle. Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's what I'm trying to do on quads. I need to unlock that quad flex mentality. You know, the old, not the quad, the calf. The CFM, the quad, the calf flex mentality, you know? How tall is Ivan on Tech? I don't know. I don't know how tall Ivan on Tech is. So I can't answer if I'm taller than him or not. But shout out to Ivan on Tech. You know, shout out to Ivan on Tech. All right, guys, I do have to head out, man, but God bless you all in Jesus' name. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell. And I will see you guys next time. Peace!